Here we finally are, guys, the Endgame. A journey that started a decade ago and has spawned over 20 movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, featuring a multitude of colorful characters that share the same universe with their stories happening concurrently. A feat attempted several times over the last 100 years but never accomplished until now. This is Avengers Endgame. Hey guys, this is Tom the Shadowface, and before we get down to the review, I first want to point out that this is a no spoiler review, as anyone who sees this movie deserves to see it in its entirety and enjoy it, and I for one am not going to ruin that experience by blotting out details. So without further ado, let's talk about this movie, Avengers Endgame. Ever since the colossal Titanic that was the Avengers Infinity War, we've all stayed with eyeballs glued to our calendars in anticipation for Endgame. And when it was released a few days ago, the cinemas were flooded with fans of the franchise. Seriously, I missed it on release date because the tickets were sold out for 2 days over 4 different cinemas throughout the city I live in. I had to book ahead of it to watch it on Saturday, and even at that, I almost missed it again and ended up waiting for 3 hours on the ticket line just to watch this movie. Now, when waiting like this for a movie, there's a little something I usually do to tell what the movie was like. From reading the facial expressions on the faces of those who just saw the movie, I can sometimes tell if it's going to be good or bad. Usually, the expressions are anger, sadness, joy, or as it was in the case of Infinity War, frustrated confusion and shock. This time, however, what I saw on people's faces was a strange expression, which was content calmness with a splash of knowing smirk every few faces. Now, this confused the hell out of me as I had no idea what to make of it. That was until 3 hours later when I came out of the hall wearing the exact same look. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not because I was calm, but because in my mind I was repeating a simple mantra. I am a grown man. People are watching me. Thus, I must remain calm and matured. I cannot freak out like a hyperactive 7-year-old child, even though I really want to. Alright, first off, let's get down to the story. I expected this entire movie to be one long, unending action sequence, but the one thing I never expected was drama. And funny enough, there is a lot of it in this movie. Now, the movie explores the mindset of the Avengers following their defeat at the hands of Thanos and the devastation of the universe following the use of the Infinity Gauntlet. Now, what you get to see firsthand is how this affects the survivors. For someone like me who's always worried about pacing in movies, I thought this was going to mess up the movie, but it doesn't. Instead, it adds to it immensely. You get to see parts of our hero's psyche that we never saw before. Survivor's guilt, helplessness, despair, self-loathing. But above all, and I'm not trying to steal the title of another franchise movie, we get to see the effect of a new hope on these people. And it is beautiful. Now, while I must confess it does slow down the pacing a bit, it's never distracting. Instead, it keeps you hooked from beginning to end. Why? Because we've grown to know and love these characters over 20 movies in the last 10 years. We've seen their origins, we've seen their personal challenges, we've seen their growth both as individuals and now as a team. We've seen their victories, we've seen their defeats, and now we get to see where it leads them. And it's actually amazing how much we've come to care about these characters and cheer them on when they face new challenges. Seriously, I sat down for 3 hours without shaking except maybe to scream and to shout and to howl, but it wasn't until the credits began to roll that I realized that my butt had gone numb. Now, this doesn't mean the entire movie is drama. No. You see, like all MCU movies, it's perfectly paced and balanced. There is a solid dose of drama, mystery, trivia, and of course, action. And trust me, when the action comes, I mean, seriously, Thanos is hands down the greatest villain I have ever seen in a superhero movie. I mean, in Infinity War, we got to see a bit about him, the bit that they've been hinting over several movies, but we got to see the culmination in Infinity War. In Endgame, you get a deeper way you get a deeper look, into the way he thinks and his focus towards what he wants and how he intends to accomplish it, regardless of how it turns out. It's both scary and infuriating. If you thought Thanos was badass in Infinity War, trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet. Another beautiful thing this movie does right is it ties in every other major movie in the MCU universe. I'm not joking, there are tons of references, cameos, trivia, most of which will take you completely by surprise. But there are no needless appearances, as everything has a purpose and you can see how old occurrences link to present ones. It was as if the producers wanted to remind us fans about how the journey started and how long it took to get to this point. Now, I have to specify, if you are a newcomer to the franchise and this is literally the first MCU movie you've ever seen, in which case I have to wonder if you live on planet friggin' Earth, then this is going to be a very, very confusing movie for you. However, if you are a long-time fan like me and everyone else on this planet, you will go gaga from the first 2 minutes until the end of the movie. And the end of this movie. Now, I've seen on social media that there are some people that like to argue that Infinity War was slightly better than Endgame. Now, this is their opinion, and normally I would tear into this the moment I started this review, but instead I'm going to let you guys talk about this. I want to see you guys watch this movie and comment on what you think of this comparison between Infinity War and Endgame and which you think is better. Drop a comment below. That is after you like and subscribe. I mean, come on guys, do this and support me so I can make more videos. Anyway, Endgame is a wonderful piece of art of a movie, and it works with every single movie and almost every single character in the MCU universe, and it is so beautifully and perfectly done that it will literally bring tears to your eyes. If it was possible to give this movie an A+++++++++, or in the words of Iron Man, an A+ 3000, trust me, watch the movie, you get it. I would, but as it is now, I'll just give it an A+ major, which means this movie is the highest recommended movie I can recommend for anybody. This is hands down the best movie of the MCU thus far, and I stand by that mark. To be honest, I'm actually scared because I wonder how in the world Kevin Feige is going to trump this. This is the best superhero movie I have ever watched, period. But to fully enjoy this movie, I am not going to lie, you have to understand the mythos. You have to have watched at least half of the movies before it, so you can fully appreciate every single character in this movie and what they bring. Anyway, this has been Tom the Shadow Face, and once more I'm telling you guys later. Well, anyway, to the next review. See ya.